Yo, this is Joel Davis,
And I'm Gracie Davis,
and this is Greater Than Real Estate.
where we go deep to find out who you really are beyond real estate. Thank you guys for joining the podcast. And we are welcoming a guest here today that we're excited for everyone to meet. We're going to allow him to introduce himself and just really give a little bit about who he is, what he does, and we'd love to hear from him.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited. I love the setup. I love what you guys are doing, bringing on different guests and getting everybody's opinion and life stories. So I think that's very valuable. My name is Jose Moore. I don't know if I'm supposed to look in the camera. I'm supposed to look at y'all, but
Yeah.
look at y'all.
Either
but
one.
even though, y'all know me, but I'm Jose Moore. I'm a mortgage lender. I'm from Memphis. I moved here to Dallas about 4 years ago. I think that my story is very powerful for those people that's looking to take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And just go out and just bet on yourself, because that's exactly what I did to get to where I am today.
Yeah.
And, it worked out for me.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about what led you coming from Memphis to Texas.
Yeah, so actually the transition was from Memphis to Arkansas to Texas.
Okay.
So I left Memphis at the age of 18. I got a full ride to play football at the University of Central Arkansas. And so, I left there at 18 and never moved back. That was always one of the things that I had to do growing up. Memphis is, it's gotten worse over the years, but growing up, it was a great place to be, family, community, things to do. It was great. It made me who I am today.
Yeah.
But I always knew that in order for me to grow and get to the next level, I had to leave the city and go see what else is out there. You got to leave, the comfort of your home to grow, in my opinion, anyway. So I went from Memphis to Arkansas, played football at University of Arkansas, stayed in Arkansas for University of Central Arkansas. Stayed in there for 6-7 years, moved to Fayetteville, got a job being a parole officer. I'm going to make a long story short because my story can get really long. But I got a job being a parole officer, and it just came to a point where I was like, I want to buy a house. And at the time, I was making $30,000, $40,000 a year. And I thought that you had to put 20% down to buy a house. Nobody really taught me how to buy a house, and nobody really ever talked about it.
Yeah.
So whole time I'm thinking, man, I got to put 60 to 80 grand down on a house, and I'm only making 30 to 40. I'll never be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
And so that led me to start looking at different jobs in sales more so than just the mortgage industry, because I really didn't know much about the mortgage industry. And I was just trying to find a sales job where I can have control over time and income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ended up applying to Caliber Home Loans. And they interviewed me over the phone. 2 weeks later, they gave me the job. They was like, we're going to move you to Texas. We're gonna pay for your housing for 10 weeks.
Wow.
We're going to give you a $50 per day diem, a base salary while you build up your business after you go through, the classes, getting licensed. And so they kind of gave me that cushion to allow me to move out here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And from there, I just took it and ran with it.
That's awesome. So you were talking about you knew that you had to move out of the environment to be able to grow. Where did that come from? Is that something that you saw from your family, or what made you do that, or how do you see that?
I mean, I didn't grow up poor. I think if I said I grew up poor, I'd be lying to people. We had our own struggles.
Yeah.
My mom initially, she had 4 kids. At one point in time, she was a single mom raising 4 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. So by no means did we have it easy. At one point, I used to have to go to work with my mom because she couldn't afford to pay for daycare. So we never had it easy, but she always figured out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think seeing that part of life kind of motivated me, and the fact that I can remember that because it was so long ago. I was only 2-3 years old, 4 at the most.
Dang.
Wow.
And I can remember that because it was just not traumatic, but it was one of those things that you could never forget that was a part of your life. It's things that happened when I was younger that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I would say, just systematic things that happened over time.
Yeah.
With family, with friends, and just seeing how other people grow up and what they end up becoming motivated me to do something different.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that's kind of where that came from.
To be able to have that at such a young age, I mean, that shows just how mature you were, at that age, to be able to just see everything else around you and then be like, okay, this is not what I want to do. Okay, what's my next steps? And then being able to do that. So that's really cool. So was football the only sport that you played? Did you know, like, were you one of those athletes, and I'm going to raise my hand right here, where the sport was the only thing that you cared about, or kind of how'd you get into that?
Yeah, man. So it's funny. My mom didn't want me to play football because I was so small.
Shout out to all you moms who say don't play football.
Yeah, at the time I was her youngest, and she was like, well, I wasn't the youngest. My little brother was just born. But I was like in the second grade, maybe second or third grade when I first started trying to play football. And she was like, no, you're not playing football. They're going to break you. Like my two older brothers, they played Little League football. I used to go to their games. I'm like, wow, I can't play. And so I actually snuck out the house and started playing Little League football. So the elementary school that I went to was right by our house.
What?
And I used to tell her that I'm going over to my friend's house, and we would go walk to the field and go try out for the team. It was called Whitehaven Raiders. And to this day, my second dad, I almost said my stepfather. I call him my second dad. He's not my stepfather.
Yeah.
But he's the athletic director for the Little League team that I snuck and played for.
How long did it take for your mom to catch on that?
It didn't take long because the coaches drove me home one day and they was like, we'll pay for his equipment. We'll pay his dues. He's really good. We want him to play.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
So that was my journey of getting into football. Like I always wanted to play.
Yeah.
You remember the movie The Little Giants?
Yes.
That was the movie that like I was like, I need to play for the Cowboys.
That's awesome. That's
I wanted
so
to play
cool.
for the Cowboys. So that movie was the childhood movie that kind of turned my lights on. And then
the annexation of Puerto Rico.
the annexation of Puerto Rico. Man. But football was my main sport. You know, I played basketball at one point. I ran track. I did baseball, but when it came down to getting really serious about getting to the next level, I just honed in on football, and that was it.
Yeah. What made you pick Central Arkansas? I'm sure you had other offers and stuff like that. Also, what position did you play?
I played receiver, and quite frankly, I had interests, a lot of different interests. And I got hurt my senior year, and so I missed like half of the season.
Dang.
And so, when, the season was ended, there was teams that were showing interest. Nobody really offered. And Central Arkansas, they actually came to watch me practice, like soon I got back from injury. And they liked the way that I was practicing. Like they came to a practice, not a game.
Yeah, that's when you know they're serious, right there.
Yeah, and this is like this is my first week back from a concussion.
Oh,
wow.
And so man, I was playing hard.
Yeah,
I was playing real hard. I'm like, man, I'm excited to be back. I'm about to show y'all, like y'all thought y'all could mess with me, but y'all really couldn't. So I was just like playing like it was a game.
Yeah.
And then they was like, we want to bring them out to a football game and let them see the facilities, and went out to a game. They gave me an offer. I didn't accept it, like I said, because I had other schools, bigger schools that was interested.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm just going to weigh my options.
Yeah.
Signing day is a couple months away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure after teams see my film, I'll get some more offers. And that didn't happen. And UCA ended up pulling the offer from me.
Really?
Dang.
Yeah, and they didn't pull it because they didn't want me to come. They pulled it because all their they filled up the receiver spots. And so I ended up losing the offer from UCA.
Really?
Yeah, and I hope my friend I hope he sees this, who was the reason why I ended up getting the offer and going to UCA. But his name is LJ Wallace, and he was committed to UCA. As a receiver, he ended up decommitting to go to UCA and play baseball. And once he decommitted, the head coach, they flew to Memphis, and they was in my living room to give me back my scholarship offer.
That's dope. Shout out LJ.
Yeah, shout out to LJ. I don't know if I ever told him this story, but I was telling his line brother this last weekend.
Yeah.
When we was all out at dinner, I was like, man, LJ is the reason that I ended up at UCA. And I was like, I don't know if I ever told him this story, but he's literally the reason.
Wow.
He decommitted to go play baseball, and they flew to my house. Him, Coach Conk, and Coach Wheeler, they was in my living room. They was like, we had a kid that decommit, and this is your opportunity. And I was like, Coach, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm not missing out on that again.
That's
so I
Man.
just took I just didn't want to wait it out and miss out on another opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a full ride. Gave me an opportunity to get away from home and to continue to play football. So I just took it.
That's awesome. What would you say was the biggest thing that you learned on D1 collegiate sports?
Man, I think the biggest thing is just that the structure and discipline.
Yeah.
Because you are on a schedule 24/7. Like every second, every minute, every hour of your day is
Yes.
planned out to the T.
Yeah.
Wake up at 5:30.
People don't
Breakfast at
understand
6.
that. Yep.
Class at 8. You
Yeah.
got your classes throughout the day. You got to be at the field house for meetings at 1:50. You go through meetings. You get dressed. Sometimes you got to work out in between that time.
Yeah.
And you got practice from 3:30 to 5:30. After practice, you watch the film. After film, you go to study hall. After study hall, you go home, go to bed, and you just do it over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think the biggest thing that I learned is just that discipline, that the schedule and the structure. It kind of teach you hard work and how to kind of plan out your day and stick to it because, I mean, it works. We won a championship with that type of schedule. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's something that I feel like even now you can use. It was a skill that you learned then that's still useful now for planning and making your daily routine and choosing success, throughout the day. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I would 100% say college football, like, it helped me become the person that I am today. Like,
That's
throughout
awesome.
all the career changes, all the adversity,
Yeah.
all the different things that we just go through, it's just life.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
as awesome as some people say, right? The
Right.
ups and downs with, sports and collegiate. Everybody thinks, oh, he's got a full ride, he's got this, but it's hard.
It's hard.
It's not easy.
It's hard.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
hard.
your opportunities on the line too.
Yeah.
So every day you have to make sure to prove yourself.
Every day you got to prove yourself. And I
Yeah.
went through a coaching change too. So
Really.
It's
That's even
like-
more difficult.
yeah, it's just like a job, Every day you got to get up and sell. You got to
Yeah.
sell yourself. You got to sell more than you did the last day. You got to
Yeah.
you got to work harder than you did the day before. And so I always just tell myself 1% a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we used to tell ourselves in college is like, just get better. 1% a day is all you need to do. Just chip away.
Yeah.
You can't eat an elephant in one bite. So just, chip away, chip away, chip away. And eventually the plate will be clear and you'll be full.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I try to tell myself too, because sometimes, we get overwhelmed in our business where we're not doing the things that we want to do and we're not seeing the results that we want to see.
Yeah.
But if you just take the small wins and consistently just chip away,
Yeah.
those
Right.
small wins, they turn to big wins.
Yeah. I
Right.
remember Coach James, Uncle James. He said, every time I was like, James, what you doing? And he was like, I'm looking for your replacement. I mean, just that fact, you've got to do something every single day, because if you're not, you are replaceable.
Yeah,
think-
and that's true though.
Yeah.
That is like that may sound like, dang, that sucks, coach. Why would you
Yeah.
tell me that? But that's true.
Yeah.
Even in the NFL,
Yeah.
when they draft, they're looking for your replacement. In college, when they're recruiting, they're looking for
you.
somebody to come in and replace you.
Yes.
The people that they're recruiting, they're taking the people that they already have on their team. And it was like, who can come in as a freshman and push these guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I was that
Exactly.
freshman that came in and pushed the guys because I played as a true freshman.
Yeah.
So I was one of the guys that was like, all right, this is a guy that we can come in and he can take somebody's spot. And honestly speaking, I had a freshman take my spot my senior year. I'm like, God dang,
Yeah.
I don't play. But I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. So,
Yeah.
it's life.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. So tell us about the transition after football. You said you became a parole officer.
Yeah.
So how did you get to that? Who introduced you to that opportunity, and what was that like?
Yeah, so that was a process. That was the short version of becoming a parole officer.
Okay.
So my first job out of school was a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual.
Okay.
I
Okay.
interned there. So in college, that you had to do an internship
Yep.
before you graduated.
Yeah.
And so I chose to intern at Northwestern Mutual. I had a teammate of mine that he was a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual. And he interned, and I'd always see him come in the locker room, suited and booted with his suitcase, looking real nice and spiffy.
Yeah.
I'm like, Gilberto, what you do, man? He's like, yeah, I work at Northwestern Mutual. I'm like, what's that? Like, oh yeah, financial advising, life insurance and investments.
Yeah.
Dang, that sounds pretty cool. That's something I feel like I can do. Like,
Yeah.
I always wanted to get into investing in real estate.
Yeah.
And like, if you just interviewed any of my old teammates, they always tell you, yeah, Jose was always talking about real estate and investing in practice.
Yeah.
Like that was just one thing that I was always interested in. So I ended up interning at Northwestern Mutual. Ended up going full time there. Worked there for like a year and a half. It didn't work out. I started my own business doing like business loan brokering. So I went to YouTube University.
Yeah. Hey.
Went to YouTube University and found a guy that was talking about like starting up your own loan brokering business basically for free. All you had to do was just find the lenders, build the connections, and connect people with lenders that can get them money.
Yeah.
I had already had experience, when I was at Northwestern Mutual. If you know anything about that industry, it's hardcore.
Yeah.
It's like, eat what you kill and kill what you eat.
Oh, yeah.
So I was cold calling out the phone book. I was walking into random businesses trying to talk to business owners. So I had the guts already. So I'm like, I can do this too. So
Yeah.
I did the business loan brokering thing for like 6 months. Didn't get any deals from it, but I was out talking to people and had some things in the works and building up a pipeline.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the support that I needed to actually truly build that business up. So I had a mentor. He was in the DEA at the time. And he was telling me to get into law enforcement. Law enforcement pays well, so I wanted to get into the federal government and into law enforcement. So I actually applied at the FBI. I didn't get the job. Dang. I didn't even get an interview.
Dang.
But it was because I didn't have the work experience. FBI, they was really strict about the work experience, and I was still fresh out of school.
Yeah.
I only had a year of work experience, so I didn't get that job. But I ended up applying for a parole officer job, and I also applied to the Secret Service. And I did get the Secret Service job. I did.
Then why are you here?
No, because after the last step before the polygraph, I got disqualified.
Ah.
Dang.
For something that I can't say on camera.
Okay.
It's a young, and you can probably get where I'm going with this because you probably was at that point in your career in football. It's just a young mistake in college that I probably could have lied about and got by with it, but I was so nervous to lie to the federal government that I told the truth. And then I got an email that following Monday. It was like, you disqualified from the process. I had my conditional employment letter, and all I needed to do was take my polygraph to get the job. But thankfully, I didn't get that job, though, because that would have came about right around 2020 when COVID happened. All the crazy stuff was there because it was going to be at the Capitol Police. So it was going to be that type of Secret Service job. And eventually I wanted to work my way over to doing the actual Secret Service, being with the president. Yeah. Like that was the goal.
That's pretty dope.
And then, so I didn't get that, but I ended up getting a parole officer job. So that's what led me to get that parole officer job and take it. Yeah. But it all came from my mentor just telling me to get into law enforcement. The income opportunity was there. And at the time I thought that was what was for me.
Yeah.
I bet you got some wild stories about being a parole officer.
Oh, I got some wild stories.
I bet you got some wild.
Oh, my God. I never thought I would be the guy to arrest somebody.
Yeah.
I've literally arrested people.
You bodied some people?
I didn't body them. I was the cool parole officer. I didn't abuse my power,
Yeah.
But when it was time that I had to actually do my job, I had to do my job.
Yeah.
So like the people that I had under my caseload, they respected me because I wasn't the type of dude that talked crazy to people.
Yeah.
Like when you messed up and you forcing me to do my job, like just come on, man, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
So
just walk into it. That's
funny.
That's
funny. I mean, I found drugs in a guy's house, and I was like, come on, man, we talked about this. Like I done drug test you, and I told you gotta get off the drugs.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that time I had to arrest him.
Dang.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it was nuts. But I'm glad I'm out of that industry, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me at all.
So what led from after being a parole officer? I know you said you went through the process with Caliber. Mm-hmm. So how long did you work for Caliber, and how was that for you at the beginning, and what led to where you are now?
Man, Caliber, I give them all the not all the credit, but a big great deal of it, because without them, without Tom Lott, and without Christian Johnson, I wouldn't be here where I am today. They gave me a shot. Yeah. And Tom Lott was the guy that interviewed me. Like, we never even interviewed in person.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like an interview, to be honest. We talked for almost like an hour in our first conversation.
Yeah.
And he called me 2 weeks later. Was like, man, we want to give you the job. He's like, I liked everything we talked about on the phone. It was just more so me getting to know him getting to know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just a good fit. And he gave me the chance, and I was like, I'll take it, because I also was looking at other companies too. It wasn't just Caliber.
Yeah.
I had interviewed at Chase, which I had a very traumatic experience interviewing at Chase. I felt like I was discriminated against.
No.
What?
Yeah, the guy that interviewed me, it was a dual interview. It was a white guy and a black guy. And the white guy told me that I didn't look affluent.
Are you kidding me?
He told me I didn't look affluent, and he was like, "Our clients are affluent clients, and it doesn't look like you can convert affluent clients."
Oh
And so
my
I was like,
gosh.
It's another reason why homeowners don't use Chase Bank.
I would never use Chase. I
Never.
don't use them for banking.
Yes.
Anytime I get a
Dang.
client that's using Chase, I'm trying my best to win that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have no respect for him just because of that one experience.
Yeah.
A guy judging a book by its cover. He didn't even know who I was. Like, I played college football. Like, I got friends who are millionaires. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hang with people who have money.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna tell me that I'm not affluent or I don't look affluent? I'm
That's-
not affluent, but I don't look affluent. Like, you can't judge me. Like,
That's
I had on a
crazy.
nice suit, a nice tan suit, crispy white shirt, a tie. Like, I was
That's
crispy.
crazy.
And then, I was like, all right, that just, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
That's
I kept my
crazy.
cool and everything, but
You wanted-
looking back on it,
yeah.
I'm like, dang, I can't believe he actually said that to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
Chase,
surprise me though.
Yeah, doesn't. Yeah, now
Sadly.
that I
Yeah. Now that you know Chase.
now that I know what I know now, that
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me at all. But Chase, Bank of America, I interviewed at Stryker Medical Devices, so I tried to get in medical device sales. Yeah.
A lot of athletes do that.
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
heard.
I can't.
a ton of
I
my
can't deal with the
friends.
blood. The blood just it's a no for me.
Yeah, I thought I could probably do it, and I probably could have if I really put my mind to it.
Yeah.
But again, that was just one of those things where I didn't have enough work experience and sales experience. They didn't take a chance on me.
Really.
And so everything works out, man.
Yeah.
God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
He'll show you what's for you and what's not. And,
Yeah.
with Stryker and doing the Mako, that's what they call it, the Mako device, where it's like a robot that helps with knee replacements and all that kind of stuff. So the people that's like the Mako specialists, they help doctors learn those machines. They don't actually operate them
Yeah.
in the operation room,
Yeah.
but they have to teach the doctors how to operate those machines and surgeries.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
In certain cases, you are the one that's in there doing the surgery.
Yeah.
So if the machine malfunctions, you have to be the one to fix it.
Yeah.
So that job came with a lot of
Oh
responsibility.
yeah.
So I
Right.
get why they was really picky on who they would accept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand that 100%, and I'm glad I didn't take that job. 'Cause who would have known? I probably would have did good at it, but again,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like what I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, it's evident that God placed you in certain things throughout your lifetime in order for you to be here where you are now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
praise the Lord for that.
Shout out to God.
Yeah.
If you're watching, no. Yeah.
Oh, he's watching.
So how long did you work at Caliber before you moved on? Because I know now the company you're at, Monument Square Mortgage, kind of give us the outline of how that.
Yes, I was at Caliber
progressed.
for like 2.5 years. So I was there for a pretty good stint. And I was in a good situation there too. And the only reason I left was changes happened at Caliber.
Yeah.
The company got bought out, started seeing things starting to change. And Town Square Mortgage actually reached out to me. I didn't answer the phone initially. And Trent left me a voicemail. And he was like, yeah, we looked you up and our team looked you up. You got a good presence on social media and we looked up your volume. You're doing really well. We think you'll be a great fit for this opportunity we have. We're partnering with a real estate company and they're opening up a new office and we want you to be one of the lenders that works out of that office. So I'm like, dang, I can still build up my own business. I can have the opportunity to work with other agents at a whole real estate company
Yeah.
and get leads. So it's like a trifecta.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, I would be crazy not to take this opportunity.
Yeah.
And so that was really the only reason why I left Caliber. One was because of the changes that was occurring. And at the end of it, my whole team ended up leaving Caliber. But also just the opportunity was something I just couldn't pass up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at Caliber, did you get leads or was everything self-generated?
Everything was self-generated,
Okay.
100% self-generated.
Yeah. So tell us about like that, because I mean, for all of us in our industry,
It's all the
everything is
same.
self-generated. It's
Yeah.
all about networking and building relationships and things like that. So you mentioned social media. What were some of the ways that you were able to connect with people and self-generate those new leads and those new people to get into homes?
Yeah, so when I started in 2020, I feel like the mortgage industry was oversaturated, but I don't think it was as oversaturated on social media
Yeah.
as it is now. Like talking about mortgages and, real estate wasn't a big thing on social media
Yeah.
Yeah.
in 2020, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
could be thinking different and saw different, but in my opinion, I didn't see that
Yeah.
it was that, big of a thing. So I used that to my advantage. And then a lot of people, with shelter in place. So, I was hitting up agents, in their DMs,
Yeah.
I was, if it was a networking event, Texas really didn't shut down anyway. So
Mm.
people still networking
Yeah.
and getting out and doing open houses. Like, I'll never forget one of my first open houses I did as soon as I got my license. I went to the store, bought some bottles of waters, bought some candy, got some ice. It was hot summer. I went out to a couple open houses and I brought some waters and some ice
Yeah.
to some agents. And I was like, I'm just stopping by, introducing myself. I just got in the business and just trying to make some connections. And some agents, they appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm working with any other agents that I did that with.
Mm-hmm.
But if they saw this and they remember that story, they probably would remember who I was.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget one of the open houses that I ended up walking into. It was actually a lender there. It was a lender there.
Yeah.
And we had a good conversation, too. And she ended up trying to recruit me. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to stay put to where I'm at. I'm just starting. It's not time to make a jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I used social media to my advantage during 2020.
Yeah.
That was the time where we had the refinance boom. So
Yeah.
I think that also provided an opportunity for me for purchase business
Yeah.
Mhm.
because a lot of lenders were so busy with refinances that they were ignoring the realtors.
Exactly.
So that gave
Right.
me an opportunity to get out and build relationships with agents
Right.
that wasn't quite getting the attention that they needed from their lender.
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause they was too busy doing refinances. Some people was doing 20, 30 refinances in a month when rates was in the 2s and 3s.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really where the opportunity came at. Is I just got in at the right place at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
and I just worked social media and was just getting out hustling,
Yeah.
just like I was when I was doing the business loan
Yeah.
brokering at Northwestern Mutual too.
Yeah.
Cold calling out the phone book.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think we got a pretty similar story when it comes to that. Like, my old boss was doing 20 to 30 loans a month. I didn't grow up like a lot of the kids that I grew up with. They weren't buying homes at that time. So I wasn't getting any refinances. It was all purchase business. Like, the bulk of my business since I started was purchase business. So that's really cool that you started out like that too. Cause I was like, oh, I'm kind of the only one that's going through this right now. I was like, seeing other guys doing 20 to 30 loans a month, you're like, dang, that'd be nice. But, growing on that purchase business, whenever rates drop and we can refinance again,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be able to be in that position now just because of when we came in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that kind of helps us out. Like when we fast forward to today, it's like those relationships that we built back in 2020, 2021 during
Yeah.
the refinance boom,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of put us at the forefront today where we was just focused. We was just purchase focused.
Yep.
Once rates went back up,
Yeah.
those loan officers that were more so rate focused, they either got out of business or they
Yep.
had to really build up their relationships back from scratch because
Yeah.
they just got too busy where they couldn't handle
Yeah.
the purchase business. So
Yeah.
Right.
that helped put me to in the position that I am today as well. Is just being so purchase focused and
Yeah.
put myself out on social media the way that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some agents that just reach out to me, want to work for me because either a client told them about me or another agent told them about me or they saw me on social media
Yeah.
and they liked the information that I was putting out. So
Yeah.
they
That's
kind of worked
awesome.
in my benefit. So.
Yeah. So you've been in the business for a couple years. Success always changes. Success changed, I'm sure, for you in football too. But how do you define success?
When I first got into business, man, success to me, and I still got notes on my phone where I was like, I want to be $100 million producer, which I wouldn't be mad if I became $100 million producer. I'm not saying I don't want to be, but I
Yeah.
don't think $100 million doesn't mean that you're successful.
Yeah.
I don't think that defines success.
Yeah.
And it took me, I'd say, the last few years just going through different things. We talked a little bit about depression,
Yeah.
and just trying to find out what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I thought that making a lot of money would be the thing that makes me happy. And now I'm at the point I'm a lot more mature in my life.
Yeah.
I'm engaged. I'm building a family like we talked about. And I think that success is just having time, being happy, having peace in your life,
Yeah.
and being healthy.
Yeah.
That's what success is to me. As long as I can pay the bills, as long as we can take vacations, as long as we can go out to dinner, we can go to different, little things out here in the community and, maybe just have little dates here and there, buy clothes here and there.
Yeah.
That's what success is to me. So as long as I can do that, I feel like I'll be happy, regardless if that's, 5 loans a month, 10 loans a month, 3 loans a month,
Yeah.
or if that's $100 million, I just want to be happy, man. I just want to be peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I heard a song the other day. It said, I wish that everybody could get everything they've ever dreamed of and realize that that will never fulfill them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really cool because, same thing when I first started out, it's the same thing, all those high numbers, but now it's just completely changes. And I think that's cool that, if you look back over your career for football or your career for work, just like how things change and how things that we thought were worth so much really aren't.
Yeah. No, that's true, man. Because as you know, the busier you get, the tougher it gets.
Yeah.
The more problems you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they say, more money, more problems. Especially in this business, because when you're working with people, it's like not every loan file is the same.
Yep.
I had a taste of having a $25,000 a month, and I was like, dang, this feels good. But man, that $25,000 came with a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah.
A lot of problem solving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stress.
Yeah.
And I'm built for it.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll consistently make 25, 30 grand a month. I'm built for it, and I know the things I need to do to get there.
Yeah.
And how to scale it. But I'm at the point now where I'm not rushing it.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing it. I want to do it the right way. I want to do it with the right people, with the right team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just putting my trust in God that,
Yeah.
if I'm supposed to get to that point where I'm doing 30, 40, 50, $60 million a year, it's going to be because God wanted me there.
100%.
Right now, I'm doing fine. I can make my bills. I'm paying my bills.
Yeah.
We can take vacations if we want to. My workload isn't too crazy. I got great partners. I got great clients. I got a great team, and I'm happy where I am. I'm not complacent. I'm still working hard to get better, and that 1% is still, that's still the topic. That's still what I'm basing my grind off of, 1% a day. So I'm still working to get better, but I'm in a good place in my business where, if someone says, Jose, are you successful? I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm successful.
Yeah.
Every single year that I've been in Dallas, I've made more money year after year after year after year. So. I give that all to God, because it was one point, man, I couldn't even afford to pay my rent. I couldn't afford to buy a meal. I was door dashing. I was freaking doing HVAC jobs on the side.
Yeah, anything.
I was eating off the dollar menu for a week straight, eating noodles. Man, when I first got to Dallas, it took me a year to buy a TV and a bed. I only had a couch in my house.
Really?
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom.
The bottom. I was sleeping on the couch for like a year, almost a year.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I got my first $5,000 check. I went and bought a bed and a TV.
That is so cool, though, because I think it's just a testament that like good things come from hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So tell us about your fiance, because I know the audience wants to know about this.
Yeah, he's
So
not single, ladies. So
Yeah,
he
sorry,
is taken.
ladies, he's
Not
taken.
single. I'm
But-
happily taken.
But yeah,
I
tell
don't
us
wanna be in the
how you
streets.
guys met. When you guys got engaged, when the wedding is, all of that.
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. This business has brought me so much like happiness.
Yeah.
It brought it's not just happiness. It's I'd be lying to you if I said that everything has just been kosher. It's been easy, but
Yeah.
just looking at it from a high level overview, it's brought a lot of different things and happiness in my life. And I've met my fiance because of the business.
Yeah.
So I met Deja. Her name's Deja Moore. That is.
That's got a good ring to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does, right? It's
Yeah.
actually Deja Phillips, but I like Deja Moore better.
Exactly.
But I met Deja through our friend Amanda. Amanda's one of our best friends. And Gracie,
And that's actually how we met.
yeah, that's
so-
exactly how we met.
Yeah.
So me and Amanda used to work together as insurance partners.
Yep.
So I'll tell the story on Amanda and George too. So because it all kind of lines up together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when George bought his house in Dallas, he used me as his lender, and he needed insurance, and so I connected him with Amanda. How me and Amanda got connected was this guy, I can't remember, I think his name was Percy. Yeah, that's his name, Percy. He was an insurance agent that I met on social media. Like, we had mutual friends and everything, and we just connected. And I had my first purchase client, and I was trying to send it to Percy. And Percy was like, "Man, I got out of business, but I got a good referral for you." He referred me to Amanda,
Wow.
And like I just gave her the deal. Like we didn't even talk on the phone. We didn't do it. I just say, hey, can you help my client out with some insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just sent it to her, and she was like, man, I really appreciate that. Like we didn't know each other from a can of paint, and you just gave me a shot, and I really appreciate it. I want to take you out to lunch and get to meet you and know your story.
Yeah.
And so we went to Stir. That was the first time we met. Was at Stir, or is it Stir? I think it was Stir. It was Stir.
Yeah.
That was the first time we met, and from there we just like hit it off. Like it wasn't weird. Like you know how it is being a woman. In
It wasn't
business.
weird. We've all had some weird meetings.
Yeah, like when you meet a stranger and you trying to figure out if it's gonna be a good fit, like a good work fit, and just like a good human fit. Like,
Yeah.
like human to human, do we fit?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Are you gonna try to hit on me? Or are you gonna make this weird? And I feel like women get it the most. Like
Yes. Yeah.
like they meet a guy and they're trying to do business with him, and the guy want to hit on him.
Yeah, and
Like
then
that.
they think it's like, oh, I'm asking you to lunch because I wanted to date you.
Right.
Like, no,
you've had
man.
a
That's
couple.
not
You've had
it.
a couple of those.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
want to go there.
So me and Amanda, like it was just like a great vibe, and we just meshed really well.
Yeah.
And so, we just stayed in touch. We met up again. She introduced me to James. He's one of my referred partners that I
Yes.
use now. Me and
Yeah.
James been working with each other for over 4 years now. She introduced me to Aisha, Amani.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like this is just like our friend group, and
Yeah.
all of them are really good people.
Yeah.
And so when George bought his house, I connected him with Amanda. They both sent me a text. They was like, dang, this person's cute. They was like, dang, she fine. I was like, bro, y'all literally both just sent me the same text. Shoot your shot, because y'all feel the same way about each other.
Dang.
And so we fast forward that to today. George and Amanda, they got kids together, 2 kids.
Yep.
They're
Oh.
about to be married as well. And Amanda connected me with Deja. Well, she didn't intentionally connect me with Deja. We was all chilling at Amanda's house. I was cooking some chicken
Okay.
Alfredo, my
You
special
can, you
dish.
can throw it down.
Yum.
Yeah, everybody
Yes.
says that I can do a little something in the kitchen. So I was cooking, and Deja, she was just over there, just being her,
Yeah.
giving me a hard time. And, from there, we talked. We kind of fell off a little bit. We saw each other again. We talked, fell off a little bit. Then she came to my party, and she was looking real good. And I was like, let me try this one more time. And from there, man, we talked every single day since June 24th, 2021.
That's awesome.
Not a day went by that we didn't talk. So, and now
Wow.
we're engaged.
That's awesome.
I love that.
So when's the wedding?
The wedding is May 23rd, 2025.
Okay.
You excited?
I am.
Can't come soon enough.
I am
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited. I'm nervous too. I'm excited though.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the next chapter in life. You know?
Absolutely.
You can kind of, when you get to this point, I feel like you can kind of start seeing how everything is going to turn out for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And, when you meet your person, man, it's just, women can help a man, like the right woman can help a man reach levels
Hey,
that you
don't-
never thought imagined.
Don't say that out loud. No, I'm just kidding.
It's-
no,
They
yeah.
might get me.
Yeah, completely agree though. Yeah, I mean, having the right woman, they talk about in scripture that, the man is the head of the household, but everybody forgets to mention that the woman is the neck. She
Mhm.
controls where that head goes. So having the right woman, we kind of talked about it earlier. I wouldn't be where I am today without Gracie. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
And I would say the same. I wouldn't be where I am without Deja. She
Yeah.
supported me during all my tough times.
Yeah.
She's just that. She just that extra layer of motivation.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep working hard for the person that's dependent on you.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's great to have a partner in life that has those similar goals, that's encouraging. I mean, we always talk about it like we're Team Davis, like if something happens, it's not me against him, it's us against the problem. Like we're a team to figure this out. So I think having that perspective and being blessed enough to have a partner in life, it's something I was even like, I don't know if I need a partner. Like, I'm good. I can figure stuff out on my own. Like,
Fun fact, first date, she literally told me, she was like, straight up, I don't need you. I was like, whoa, let's pump the brakes real quick. She said that multiple times, and I was like, dang, do I need to
She
follow
cut
through
throat.
with it? Yeah. I was like, do I need to follow through with this?
I was just making sure you knew your place at that time. I didn't need you, but I was willing to bring you on.
Hey, you stuck by us, so that means you weren't willing to give up.
Yeah,
easy, man.
exactly.
Yeah,
Some men will run away from that. They're
Yeah.
like, you don't need me, I'm leaving.
absolutely. And that's what happened to all the men before him. So
He's up for the challenge.
Second
Yeah.
guessing it. No, I'm just kidding.
it worked out. It worked out. You did have your spits of
Let's all right.
interesting
Yeah, we can get past that.
choices.
Yeah, we can get past.
We all did.
Yeah, exactly.
Trial and tribulations.
There we go. You hear that?
We got to go through bad experiences to turn
Yeah.
out to the person that we are today.
Yeah.
Not just bad experiences, just experiences in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff makes us out to who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're curious. What do you remember a specific transaction that has made the biggest impact on your career?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I had a bunch of them. I had a freaking bunch of them. I feel like every transaction that goes wrong is a learning experience.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of my career, man, I had a lot of them that went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them. And
think
it
we
was,
all- we all
it's
did.
just, for a lack of experience and not knowing how to overcome stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like I said, that makes you like one of the best lenders.
Yeah.
And I tell agents today, it's like anybody can do a easy loan.
Yeah.
Like you can pick a random guy off the street to do somebody loan that has a 780 credit score,
Mm-hmm.
a 200K salary job, no debt,
Yep.
20% down. Like that's not rocket science to do that.
Yeah.
You get your name and you make a name in this business when you figure out the hard stuff.
Right.
When you get those clients approved who barely has money or who needs to keep their money in their bank
Yeah.
because, they'll be house poor. When
Yeah.
you get those clients approved who has a high debt to income ratio, who has a low credit score, who needs down payment assistance, who's, on the verge of getting kicked out of their house because the landlord wants to sell the house,
Yeah.
who just lost their job and has to transition to something different and they're on the contract.
Yep.
And they job
Yeah.
laid them off. How can we pivot? How can we do this? How can we do that?
Yeah.
So I had a couple of them in my career. If I'm to say it's not just one that kind of defined it, but one of them that was the most memorable was it was this client who came to me. She came from a referral of another client. And the previous agent she was working with and the previous lender that she was working with, she could not find a house. This was at the time where multiple offers was a thing, houses getting 15, 20 offers on it.
Yep.
And she came to me and I said, hey, I got you pre-approved. Let's go out and tour some homes together. Like she didn't have an agent yet. I was like, let's go tour some homes together. We went to an open house together. And the agent was actually going to accept her offer on the house. But I took that extra initiative, that extra step to build up her confidence that, hang in there. You got the right people on your team. We're going to help find you a house. Because she was on the verge of just giving up and saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so me, getting up on a Saturday, being a lender, just going to an open house with a buyer. I
Yeah.
don't know many lenders that have done that or that will do that.
Exactly.
And so we didn't end up going with that house. She ended up getting another house that was actually bigger and better for her family.
Good.
But it only took us a week to get her under contract.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And she was shopping with this other agent and lender for over 3 months.
Wow.
And it took us a week to get her under contract, and we got her closed the same month. And
Yeah.
so it was that, that transaction right there is just goes to show when you go above and beyond for people,
Yeah.
how they can stay committed and loyal to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just goes to show character that builds you up in this business is,
Yeah.
you always have to go above and beyond.
Yeah.
I've had deals that, I've been threatened on. I've had deals where agents stopped working with me on. But all of those are just learning moments that some things that I probably would never make another mistake on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never making the
Absolutely.
same mistake twice.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Right. And so one of the things you mentioned that's really important is having like that team of trusted people. So when it comes to like your team, what kind of processes do you have in place? What kind of people? I know obviously we work together, but like who and what do you direct the path as far as like helping these people get into the home? Who are like your teammates?
Yeah, so we got Jared. Jared is our loan officer assistant. So Jared's role is to pretty much, once we get a contract in, he sets the file up, he discloses it, he sends out his introduction email to let everyone know, like, hey, I'm Jared Kennedy. I work with Jose Moore.
Yeah.
We'll all be working together on this file. Just sent you over your loan disclosures. Here's some things that we need to get your file over to our next team member.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the next layer in my process. That's where he comes in. I'm the front end guy, so I'm setting up the loan, talking through numbers. I'm working with the client. I'm talking to the agent. I'm basically trying to get the client to commit to us and find the right product that fits their situation.
Yeah.
Once we find that, we get them pre-approved. They get them out shopping. We get them under contract. I move them over to Jared. Jared does his thing. He orders the title. He orders third parties. He sends out referrals for the insurance partners. So you seen Gerald send you a couple referrals. So that's usually what he does. I used to do that in my business where I say, hey, Gracie, here's a client. Give her a call.
Yeah.
Reach out to her. Send the client Gracie's number as well. But I'm trying to get to the point where I can streamline a lot of stuff to where I don't have to do as much and I can go get more.
Delegating.
So delegating. So Jared handles that for me now.
Yeah.
And then after Jared gets done, it gets over to April. April is our service processor.
Yeah.
So she basically orders our third-party docs. So she'll order title as well. She'll order appraisal. She'll structure the file, set it up, hit all the coordinating milestones. She'll get all the remaining documents in, structured in the file, make sure everything's where we need them in the folders that we need them at. And then from there, she passes it on to Ariel. Ariel is one of my processors. I have two processors, so Ariel and Jessica. I kind of delegate on who's going to get a loan file based off of workload. So if Ariel's getting too many files, she don't just work with me. Have other loan officers that they work with as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if her workloads if she got too many files that's going into her workload, I try to pass them off to Jessica. And the same thing, if Jessica gets too many, I pass it off to Ariel because I want the flow to stay smooth. I don't want to overwhelm them with work. And then if they get overwhelmed with work, then they can't execute their job in a timely manner. So I try to delegate it in the right in the right loads to where we can keep everything moving smoothly and in a timely manner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's pretty much the team.
That's awesome. So when it comes to the clients, I want to know, what do you want them to know about you and what do you want them to know about working with you? Because you are obviously different from any other loan officer. So what's specific to you and what do you want clients to know?
So I think for me, having that background in financial advising, it kind of, I'm not going to say it makes me different from other lenders because other lenders have the same background. They was a financial advisor at some point. But that kind of changed my outlook on how I help people plan to buy a house.
Yeah.
So I'm more so, goal oriented. Like, what's your goals for the home?
Yeah.
I don't look at this process as me just getting somebody a house and moving on.
Yeah.
I want to be able to build relationships with my clients. I want to be able to be a value add to their life, not just their home purchase.
Yeah.
My clients, they can call and talk to me about taxes. They can call and talk to me about programs, refinancing, paying off debt. I can connect them with just about any and everybody in any industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people come to work with me, they're not just getting a loan officer. They're getting someone that's going to be there with them, throughout it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to educate you about your home purchase. At one point, I was in your shoes where I didn't know what I could do. I didn't know you could do 3% down on a house.
Yeah.
I thought you had to do 20% down. So I feel like I'm relatable to a lot of the people that I work with.
Yeah.
And just being able to put myself in their shoes and just being a coach, being a teacher, and just walking them through the process and making sure that they're educated and spending the necessary time with them is what I feel like differentiates me from the other lenders in this industry. Because, like I said, any and everybody can do an easy loan.
Yeah.
But it really takes somebody that's knowledgeable, that's talented, that really wants to help you get in the home to pull up the sleeves and get to work on how to get you get in the home.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a value add. Just being valuable to people is what I'm best at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing I want to commend you on, every time I see you, you are always so friendly, so nice to everybody. And I think that goes such a long way in this business. You hit on it a little bit. There are lenders that are transaction-based, and all they care about is getting that number, hitting that number, and making money. But for you, obviously, you go the extra mile because you truly care about people. And I just want to commend you on that because I have always seen that about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually got that from his book. My mentor, Christian Johnson, he gave it to me. It's called Mr. Schmooze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Schmooze. Yeah.
I got that from that book. Yeah, I mean, it's naturally in me. Like, I was always just a person that was kind and, always went out my way to make other people feel at home and feel welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that book kind of like opened my eyes to where, like, you just being authentically you,
Yeah.
being nice to people,
Yeah.
can just open up doors and give you blessings that you never even thought of. Just like you treat the cashier like they're the CEO. You treat the person that's washing off your tires at the car wash like they own it.
Yeah.
And people appreciate that. You make other people feel good about themselves. Like, you can be, sitting next to somebody that's going through hell right now.
Yeah.
But you just ask them, like, how you doing? You look nice.
Yeah.
Just have a genuine conversation with them.
Yeah.
You just make their day brighter. And I kind of like I like doing that with all of my clients that I work with. So the first thing that I say when I get on the phone with people, I ask them how they're doing. How's your day? Do you got any big plans today?
Yeah.
You know, am I catching you at a good time? I want to make sure that this is convenient for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just try to ask those little small questions to make sure that I'm being considerate of people.
Yeah.
And I'm checking in on them and seeing how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Some people open up to me. Some clients, I'm a counselor.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the therapist at times.
Yeah.
And so, like, but I give them that platform to be able to do that, to trust me with that information.
Yeah.
And I make them comfortable over the phone with me. Like, they haven't met me,
Yeah.
but the question that I'm asking, the way that I'm talking to them, makes them feel important to where they can open up to me about personal stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I take that stuff seriously.
Yeah.
And I try to help people through it.
Absolutely.
And just be positive for them and give them a positive outlook. So
Yeah, I try to tell people, like, when we got into the business, and you were previous to that, but was during COVID. I think COVID was the darkest time for some of people's lives ever. Isolation. We talked about isolation, and I'm just like, man, like, we are in a business to make relationships. So being able to, like, treat everything as relationships. And you know, I always tell people, like, when I die, this money's not going with me. Like, I work with the people that I love working with because they're awesome people. They're fun to work with. And I truly and genuinely care about them. And just having those client experiences like you gave, I mean, that just goes so much farther than getting somebody into a home, you know?
Yeah. I agree. And I mean, some clients, sometimes you do have to be transactional with people. That's what they want. They just want somebody to get it done, get it quick, get it, you know? Yeah. And I have those clients that's like that. But for those clients that really need somebody in their corner, I think that's when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
That's when I'm at my best. You know, if we're on the phone for an hour, I know we're gonna be locked in.
Yeah.
If I can have an hour conversation with you, you're gonna be my client for life.
Yeah.
Some clients I have 5-minute conversations with, some 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But those hour-long conversations, I appreciate them the most because we really spending time to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And just hitting it on all levels.
Yeah, absolutely. So with an industry and a job that's constantly up and down, because there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of great things, a lot of hard things. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you positive during those times? And how do you really get out of, like, those ruts if, you know, bad things happen or circumstances don't go as planned?
Yeah, so I'm a faith-driven man. You know, I pray, I read the Bible every day. You know, I listen to gospel on the way to my work, and that's the one thing that I would say that kind of gets me out of those dark moments, that keeps me motivated and keep me going.
Yeah,
It's just I know that God is going to throw things at us to challenge us, to put our trust into Him.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that blind faith. And I was talking with this with my therapist. Because I never read the Bible until I started going to therapy. I've read the Bible, but never from front to back.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you would read certain scriptures and so on and so forth, but I never read it from front to back. And I'm currently in the process of reading the Bible from front to back.
Wow.
And so I started on Genesis. And one day we was talking about Genesis chapter 3 when Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden tree.
Yeah.
And he kind of changed my perspective on what the message God was trying to put out. Like, the point of the tree wasn't actually that it was going to kill you. The point of the tree was to put your blind trust into God. He wanted you to trust Him blindly, knowing that He's going to guide you in the right place.
Yeah.
And so putting that story into that perspective allows me to, like, go through a dark time but not let it get to me.
Yeah.
Like, when I was in my moment of depression, part of that was financially driven.
Yeah.
Part of that was me putting expectations on myself and me not meeting those expectations. The fear of failure played a part into that.
Yeah.
And so when I rooted my faith completely into God, like, I probably had times this year where I was in a similar position to when I was in a moment of depression.
Yeah.
But because my faith is so strong now, it doesn't get to me. I know that I'm gonna make a way out of it. I've always made a way out of it.
Yeah.
Even if I just go back to 2020, you know, I say, you know, for a year I only had a couch in my house.
Yeah.
I was eating off the dollar menu at McDonald's, and I made it through. You know, the following year after that, I made more money than I ever made in my life. The following year after that, same thing. Following year after that, same thing. So God has consistently came through day after day, year after year, even when the time's been hard. He's been coming through for me.
Yeah.
And so that's the one thing that I'm going to credit. I feel like that's the only thing that I should credit it, because without him, this hard work, is nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I think that's a good, the fear of failure, I hit home with that, especially sports based too. I mean, fear of failure is, it's almost paralyzing, at some moments, but that's just, I mean, I don't know what to say. That's great. I'm
Podcast ended.
I'm feeling all of it right there, and I just I'm with you.
Well, that really leads into our final question, which we always bring up with everybody, which is it's really about your identity. Like, what is your identity and your worth in? And I think you really explained that you trust in the Lord for everything, and not everybody, that's not everybody's story, but Joel talks about a lot that, he put his identity in baseball. That's all he ever wanted to do. That's all he ever knew. This is what I'm going to do with my life, until it didn't happen. And now, he had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Because that was my identity. So did you ever have a point in your life where your identity was in something other than the Lord? And how did that perspective change?
Yeah, I mean, just like you, man, my identity was football.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in the NFL, and it didn't work out for me. Towards the back end of my college career, I didn't get the opportunities that I thought I would get. I wasn't making the plays that I thought I would make.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just see yourself starting to digress. And at the time I was so young, I'm like, no, of course I was still pretty good. I could still go out and make plays, and I did go out and make plays, and I still played. But not at the level where I should have played in the NFL. Had I put the work in, had I done the things that I need to do, I feel like I could have made it to that level. Yeah. But I didn't put the work in. And it took me a couple years to be honest with myself and come to that realization that I was in my own way of not getting to the next level that I wanted to be at. Because I definitely had the talent to do it, but I didn't put the work in to get there. So my identity used to be football. And I always reflect on just past moments in my life where things change, life-changing moments. And so, being able to do that and have that perspective, it kind of is changing my identity a little bit to where I'm not putting my identity in things that I can't control, things that that I can control. I'm not putting my identity in it. Yeah. And it's just the growth of life and just going through different experiences is what actually changed it for me. But football was my identity. Being a $100 million producer, I had my identity at that in the first couple of years of my career. I wanted to make $1 million in W-2 income because, we all want to be rich. Yeah. But being rich doesn't mean you happy. Yeah. Right. And so it really just took, just going through different crazy things these last few years, just becoming an adult. Yeah. Becoming an adult. Just going through crazy things.
Right on the head right there.
Becoming an adult, it just makes you feel like, man, I don't even need all that. I just want to be healthy. I just want to be happy. Yeah. I just want to be free. And free doesn't mean having $1 million in the bank, man. Yeah. Free is just being with somebody you love, having a family, being able to just live everyday life. Yeah. Just knowing that it's going to come with stress and it's going to come with adversity. Yeah. Trusting something that's going to get it up, just going to get you through it. And for me, the high power is God. Yeah. That's where my identity is now.
Yeah. We one of the church service we had last Easter, and this will post after Easter, but one of the things that really hit home with me was when the angel was at the tomb and the Mary and somebody I think Mary and Jesus' Jesus' mom was there, and they said, "Why do you look for the living among the dead?" And that just hit me so much, not only in that instance, but man, for so long I was looking for the living, sports, money, anything among the dead, when that was never going to fulfill me and that was never going to fill me up. And just remembering that our identity is in Christ and having that, that is where true life comes from, like you said.
Yeah. I agree. Because like I said, you're going to disappoint yourself in life. You're going to, you're not going to make them phone calls you wanted to make. You're not going to close the deals that you wanted to close, but it's okay. You wake up, you live another day. Yeah. As long as you can make those payments on the bills that you got, as long as you wake up and you breathing fresh air,
Yeah.
I mean, you winning in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dang, this was great.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Well, we really appreciated you coming
Yeah.
on the podcast today. It
Yeah.
was great to hear your story, and we're really excited for all of the listeners to get to hear more about you and get to know you and hopefully get to know you personally. But yeah, this was Jose Moore. We appreciate everybody for listening, and thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, if you need a good mortgage, shout out to Jose with Monument Square Mortgage. Get a hold of him, refinance, purchase, financial advising, all that stuff. He's your man. Make sure you get a hold of him. We can give you his details after this. Also, shout out to Dante at Tap In Studios. If you're looking to do a podcast or even thought about doing a podcast, come meet with Dante. It's been so much more fruitful than we thought it was going to be, and we really enjoy it and being able to tell everybody's story. So if you got a podcast idea, hit us up. We'll get you in contact with Tap In Studios.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Peace.